Hello there, Whipper here, and welcome back to another mod showcase, and today I'm going to be showing you a mod called the Spawn Crystals mod, which basically enables you to craft mob spawners in survival mode, which is really useful and helpful. And the best thing about this mod is it's really balanced. I mean, it's not too easy to actually craft these, so you'd actually need to be quite far along in the game to actually obtain these and then have your own mob spawners, which is brilliant. But anyway, I'm going to show you how you can actually craft one now, and it's quite a complex crafting recipe, and there are some new blocks in the game, which you're going to need to obtain. So to first up, you actually need to go and find a dungeon with a mob spawner in it, and then you mine it with a pickaxe like so, and it will drop this new item here called a dark energy source, and it throbs with dark energy, woo, hence the name. I like that one. But yeah, once you've actually obtained this, you put it in the center of the crafting grid and surround it by iron bars, and then you get something called a crystal cage, which you're going to need later. But after this, you're going to have to make the second component, which is a dark spawn crystal. And to actually make a dark spawn crystal, you just put the emerald in the center and surround it by these things called dark crystal shards. And you obtain dark crystal shards by finding this ore, which randomly spawns in the world below Y16, and it's about as rare as diamonds, so it's quite hard to actually find this. So yeah, but once you've found some, you can mine it, and you can see it takes quite a while to mine. But once you've mined it, you get a dark crystal shard. Only one of them. But if you have a fortune pick, of course you can get more. But anyway, once you've got those, you can craft this dark spawn crystal like so, and then you use this dark spawn crystal to actually craft the spawners. But before you can craft the spawners, you need to craft something called a spawn crystal with the type of mob you want the actual spawner to spawn before it. So you can see here I've got a skeleton spawn crystal, and to craft this you just put the spawn crystal in the center and surround it by whatever the mob that you want to spawn actually drops. So in this case we've got skeleton's bones surrounding the dark spawn crystal because we're trying to make a skeleton spawner. I hope that makes sense. So for example, if you wanted to make a zombie spawner, you just surround the dark spawn crystal with some rotten flesh or something like that, and then you craft the actual zombie spawn crystal. But once you've actually got this and you've got your crystal cage here, to actually make the spawner, you just place down the crystal cage and then right click on it with the spawn crystal, like so. And now I've just made myself a skeleton spawner, and it will spawn exactly the same as the normal vanilla spawners, but it just has a cooler looking texture, and you've made it yourself, which is even better. So yeah, that's how you can actually craft the different kinds of spawners. And of course here I've got some zombie spawners. And if I just go over here, you can see all the different varieties of spawners that you can make. And as you've probably noticed, they're only for aggressive mobs. You can't actually craft passive mob spawners, so you can only craft aggressive mob spawners, which is a bit of a shame because I wanted to make a bacon factory where you had like a pig spawner which you could craft in survival, which would spawn endless pigs and then crush them and give you bacon. But nope, you can't do that. It only works with aggressive mobs, which is a bit of a shame. But you can see all the different varieties here. I don't think there's any mobs that you can't spawn. But next up, I need to show you that you can actually change the properties of the spawners that you've created. So you can change their range, how many mobs they spawn, and other properties like that. So I'm going to start off with the Dark Crystal of Dominion, which basically enables you to activate the spawner from further away. So if I stood 500 blocks away and then used this item here, that spawner would still spawn mobs. So yeah, that's really awesome. But to craft this Dark Crystal of Dominion, I can't even say that, you're going to need a diamond block, another dark spawn crystal, and the dark energy source. So you can see they're quite expensive to actually make these. I mean, you'd have to go and find another dungeon to actually obtain this crystal. But once you've got it, you can just use it on a spawner. I'll show you now, just by going up to the spawner and then right clicking on it, like so. Mobs will now spawn if you're within 500 blocks of the spawner, yes. But anyway, next up we've got the Dark Crystal of Eminence, and this one increases the spawner's range, so it will spawn mobs up to 10 blocks away instead of the normal 4 blocks away, which means it has a larger range, obviously. And to craft this one, you're just going to need an ender pearl along with the same usual components there, and then you get this lovely blue shining crystal here, which looks really awesome. And then again, let's see what happens when we apply it to a spawner, like so. Mobs will now spawn up to 10 blocks away, like so. And then next up, we've got the Dark Crystal of Fury, and this basically makes the spawner run twice as fast. So, as you can see here, you just put some gold boots along with the Dark Spawn Crystal, and then the Dark Energy Source, and then you get this lovely yellow kind of crystal. And then again, you can apply this to a spawner, and I believe you can apply multiple things to the same spawner. Yes, you can. So this one now has an increased range, and it will spawn mobs faster. So it's a really overpowered spawner there, which would be brilliant for mob farms, I think. Actually, this whole mod would be brilliant for mob farms, because you could have a mob farm, and then you could be 500 blocks away, and it'd still be activated if you use that one. You can make it spawn twice as fast, so you get more drops per minute, and stuff like that. It'd be so useful for if you had mob farms. But next up, we've actually got something that's very similar to the Dark Crystal of Fury, and that is the Dark Crystal of Frenzy, which basically just makes the spawner run even faster, 3 times faster to be precise. But with this one, you're going to need a Nether Star and the usual components, and then you get this Dark Crystal of Frenzy. Now let's see if it actually enables me to go apply it to this one. Does it? Yep, there we go. So it's got 3 times faster now instead of 2 times. Now that's a really rapid spawning spawner. And I'm going to show you the effects of these things later. But next up we've got the Dark Crystal of Malice. And this one just basically spawns more mobs around it. So normally mob spawners will spawn up to 6 mobs around them. And if there's more than 6 mobs around them, they won't spawn any more mobs. But now if you use this crystal, there will keep spawning up until 10 mobs around it. So you can see here, you're going to need a Wither Skeleton Skull, a Dark Energy Source, and the Spawn Crystal. And then you get a Dark Crystal of Malice, which helps spawn more friends for your mobs. Party in the Mob Grinder, yes! Loads more mobs, brilliant. I love these little comments when you hover over them, those are brilliant. Anyway, last but not least, we've got the Dark Crystal of Oblivion, and basically this means that the spawner will spawn mobs in all light levels. So using this, it will now spawn mobs when it's daytime. So I could place down a spawner now, and if I was in easy, or medium, or hard, you know what I mean, it would actually start spawning mobs even if it's daytime. And the special thing about this is that if you have like a zombie spawner, and to craft this you're going to need a daylight sensor, as you can see there, but if you actually have a zombie spawner, and it's daytime, it will spawn zombies which are resistant to daytime and burning up, so they won't burn up. They'll just spawn and be able to walk around perfectly fine without burning up. So it spawns really overpowered zombies, if you get what I mean. But next up, I'm going to show you the effects that has and what it looks like when you actually apply all of these things to the same spawner. It's kind of insane. So, as you can see here, I've swapped to a flat map so I can show the effects of these Dark Crystals much more efficiently. So we're going to start off by actually applying this Dark Crystal of Oblivion to this mob spawner, which is going to enable the mobs to spawn in the daytime. So we're just going to right click, and immediately we should see the effects, and instantly we've got a baby zombie and a grown-up zombie there, which have spawned in the daytime, and as you can see, they're not set on fire, which is another effect of that Dark Crystal of Oblivion. But what shall we use next? Let's use the Dark Crystal of Fury, which is meant to increase the actual spawning rates of the mobs, so they'll spawn a bit faster. So if we just butcher the current ones and apply this to it, hopefully we're going to see an increased spawn rate. So we've already got one there, and hopefully I'm expecting another more zombie to spawn quite fast after the first one. So you can see there we've instantly got another 3 that spawned, so you can see there that it's a lot faster than usual. But in fact we could go even further and apply the Dark Crystal of Frenzy to it, like so. And then if I butcher them all, we should see immediately that the spawner is spawning them insanely fast. But at the moment it's all very quiet on the zombie front. But there we go, you can see we've got 3 more zombies and another 3 instantly after it. I mean, that was insanely fast compared to the usual rate. But let's butcher all of these, and what can we use next? Oh yeah, let's use the Dark Crystal of Malice, which basically increases the amount of zombies that can spawn in the radius around it. So you can see here, now there's 5 zombies, that you can only spawn up to a maximum of 6 with a normal mob spawner, but now there should be up to 10 zombies, and we've instantly gone over that limit now. We've had 7 zombies spawn. Normally you can only spawn 6, so maybe now we'll get another 3. Yeah, there we go, now we've hit the limit, so no more will spawn now. Oh, and actually they did. Look at this. It's insane. It's like a massive, huge mob of zombies. And if I punch one, they're all going to go after me, aren't they? Let's punch one. Are they all going to go after me? No, they're not. That's because I'm in creative. I forgot about that. Oh, hello there, zombie. You're just going to look at me? Yep. Yeah, just stand there. Anyway, what haven't we done? Oh yeah, the Dark Crystal of Dominion. This basically means the spawner is going to be active from further away. So I've just apply this to this, and then butcher them all, and then fly away. Yes, I have to make sure I'm still in visual range of the zombies. So I think normally this wouldn't be active, but you can see there it is active. And there's 3 zombies that have been spawned, and let's see how far away I can be before they start disappearing. There we go, you can see I'm way away, yet they're still spawning mobs. And that's how effective that Dark Crystal is at increasing the amount of zombies that spawn, even if you're really far away. So yeah, and the final one of course is the Dark Crystal of Eminence, which basically means that these mobs will spawn further away from the spawner. So if I apply this to the spawner now and kill all the mobs, you should see that the mobs spawn further away from the actual spawner than usual. Normally they spawn around in this area, but now they're spawning way over there, which is a lot more than 4 blocks away from the spawner. So you can see there it has a clear difference in the actual properties of the spawner. So that pretty much sums up everything for the Dark Crystals mod. Just enables you to craft mob spawners in survival mode, and also change the properties of them to make them a lot more overpowered, and they're really useful for mob farms and things like that. So thank you for watching, please remember to leave a like if you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next mod showcase.